Hi friends and colleagues, and welcome back to a new devlog for Into the Maze. During the past month or so, I've been working on the level design for the first level in the game and been adding more mechanics that will empower and encourage the player to explore the alien environment around him. Whenever I think of a new design or mechanic idea, I try to make sure it fits the major design pillar in Into the Maze, which is exploration. As you can see in the video, or if you are joining my Twitch streams, links in the description, you notice that visually the game doesn't look very appealing. Everything looks like Lego blocks and the textures are just repetitive grid patterns. For those of you new to game development, this phase in level design is called grayboxing, in which the level designer builds a very abstract layout of the level using basic shapes, mainly to test mechanics and game ideas. Since we are first and foremost designing a game, it's a good idea to start testing out our gameplay ideas in an abstract level to see that they are working and fun to play, before we move on to bigger tasks such as the environment art, for instance. For me, the grayboxing phase serves two main purposes. First, it allows me to laser focus on creating areas and sections with the mechanics in mind. In the first level, I want to introduce the exploration mechanics to the player by adding challenges that will teach him how to use the tools in his disposal, such as the drone, the scanner, the jump charge, and more. Second, by remaining as abstract as possible, I can better judge the rhythm and spatial cues of the environment, such as its scale compared to the player, area reveals, and the distance between the puzzles. Since it's hard to get playtesters now with the corona situation, I keep playing the level again and again to see that there is not too much backtracking, that the area reveals are dramatic enough, and that the challenges are readable visually. I'm not focusing on the story or art so much, and although I really want to dive into that phase of the development, I hold myself until the level will feel right to play as a grey box. This will save me a lot of time in the future, and will also ensure that the level works as a game and it's fun to play before that it's beautiful to look at. One of the new mechanics I started implementing, which I'm extra excited about, is the introduction of a new alien language system. Since I wanted the exploration in the game to be as exciting as possible, an addition of a cryptic, decipherable language seemed perfect. During his exploration, the player would be able to scan some of the items in the environment and decipher the meaning of the alien symbols around him. This is similar to games like No Man's Sky, but I'm adding my own twist that will make it more meaningful gameplay-wise. My first thought was to give every area in the game a name that will light up in the player's UI whenever he enters it, very similar to the Souls game series. The difference is that the names appear as alien symbols, and only after the player discovers their meaning, he will be able to understand the names of the areas and make more sense of his surroundings. But before starting laying out the symbols and meanings, I knew I wanted to create this as a system which would be easier to scale and change in the course of the development. I used for that a very cool technique called flipbooks. Inside the engine I can just create a material with a texture of many symbols laid out in order, and using a pre-built function I can split up this image to sections, given each section a number and a corresponding symbol procedurally. This way I can drive the information of each symbol, such as if it's translated or what's its meaning, through all of the other systems of the game using that data, and I can easily change every component later, even the symbols themselves, without needing to rework the whole thing each time. The first implementation was creating scannable objects that hold the new symbols translations, but my goal was to make the translation affect the gameplay itself and not just expand on the player understanding of the environment. So that led me to think that I can expand on the checkpoint system I already had in charge of reviving the player when he dies. I realized I can turn it into a fast travel system that will work with the alien language in tandem. Whenever the player reaches a checkpoint, he will automatically learn the set of alien symbols representing that location. The player then can use the checkpoints to travel to a different checkpoint using the symbols he discovered, but he might not know their meaning yet. By exploring and unlocking new symbols and meanings, he could find new checkpoints, area names to travel to which he haven't visited yet. But like in this example, receiving a new area name from an NPC, he will need to know the symbol's meaning, or otherwise he will just have to try out his luck in finding the right combination. So using the alien language symbols this way, I actually encourage the player to explore and learn new symbols so we can unlock new places and areas in the environment. There are of course additional mechanics that will encourage the player to explore and go deeper into the maze, and all about that and more we'll go through in the next devlog. Thank you for staying and following the progress. If you want to join in to me developing the game live, you are more than welcome to follow me on Twitch or support my Patreon. All the links are in the description below, and see you next time.